Hey everyone, this is a corner you don't see a lot of, but you sure hear a lot of, the surging. Everybody's favorite, okay? So here, I have the Simonize 1800 PSI pressure washer, very equivalent to the active VE52 that was common for, goodness, who knows how long in the detailing space. And your basic run-of-the-mill 3/8 pressure washer hose. And guess what? Both have failed. Okay? This bad boy won't even turn on anymore. All right? It sucks. This here also had a little bit of a rubbage issue and has gone through to the cords on the actual metal braiding on the hose. Now keep in mind, this setup has served me very well for nearly 5 years. I can't complain. It wasn't daily use, but it was pretty frequent use. So this corner is going to be getting a bit of an upgrade, okay? That being said, there is some gray conduit in behind, which leads to an outlet. That's a 20 amp circuit that I ran back in the spring in anticipation of this bad boy getting replaced, okay? So this is no shock to me. So I actually added an additional backing here for the actual shelf. Compliments of Gully's Garage, Sean Gulliher of Saskatchewan, great guy. Pick up one of those shelves. I'll have it linked down below for your purchasing needs, okay? That being said, didn't paint this yet. It's kind of waiting for the pièce de résistance, as I can say, all right? Now, I'm very excited for the upgrade. All right, again, this Simonize has proved me great, okay? This has been a real money maker. I know it wasn't your favorite in the videos with the surging, I get it, but now, no longer. So I'm gonna be taking you along for the ride to take a setup from this to this. Stay tuned. Now, as you can tell, the cord is not actually attached to this bad boy because I did take it apart. I was curious. I wanted to see what it was, what was going on. I did detect what was happening and it's not good. Now, are there parts available for this? Maybe if you dig hard enough, but I wasn't in the mood for that. So we're just gonna disconnect the water inlet. So I really haven't talked about this setup a whole lot. Now, I did run PEX line all the way through the garage, right to the pressure washer, using shark bite fittings as well. Now, have your opinion about shark bite for the exposed areas. I think it's totally fine. What the shark bite is that it's a quick connect fitting that you just add to the pipe and then it attaches, and I have not had it leak in a few years. So I basically just have kind of a water heater hose attached via shark bite right here. And then I have a little 90, this is just like a washer machine 90, into an adapter to go into the garden hose thread because it's not natively garden hose thread. You know, I do have to honor the source here, if you will, cliche as it may be, but Matt from Obsessed Garage was a real inspiration for the setup and how to really make this look as good as possible. And I have gathered a lot of information from him. Now, in full disclosure, the new pressure washer that I got did not get through Obsessed Garage. Canada, I know he's just kind of starting out. But that being said, TOC Supplies did give a really, really great deal on the pressure washer and the hose as well, okay? So I already have this bad boy kind of disconnected. So we're just gonna take this away, put it to the side. All right, so now that's out of the way. This is actually my feed hose. So this here is a quick connect that I had because the inlet for the high pressure was actually in the rear of the Simonize. So this is just your regular hydraulic line that is used for the feed that runs directly down to the reel. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna disconnect it from the reel itself because again, the hose is going, and kind of get rid of that bad boy and move on. So we're just gonna unwind this whole hose. All right, so I've removed the little collar there, kind of exposing this. So I am using an 18 mil wrench and a big adjustable wrench on this 90 here, just to get that going. This is crazy tight and I haven't removed it since I installed it. There she goes. All right. So yeah, obviously this needs to be very, very tight. That's the high pressure line. So I'm gonna loosen that and take that off. All right, so we got the hose all removed. So now all I have to do is actually remove the feed here for my water line. Just held on with a couple Phillips screws. Get that out of the way. And then down here is just kind of a little clamp. So I'll just get a little flathead screwdriver in there and then we'll take out that water line. And I'm actually just gonna use some pliers for this. That should come out relatively easily. That's there. There we go. And so the next step is that you'll see here, this is where I had my, my whip hose into my reel. And then I just kind of had it looped around just for the excess. So we're just gonna go ahead and take this bad boy off. I do like these little gray U-clamps to hold this kind of stuff on because they don't abrade the surface. I know the metal ones do exist with a little rubber inside. These are just what was on hand for me. Take this last one out. Now you may be thinking, why didn't you paint this on here before you put it all up? Well, I like to do things twice, apparently. So, yeah, no real reason. Kind of had a test fit, and then the test fit just kind of stayed. Now, it may be a little tricky for you to see, but I do have 6 screws actually holding on this reel. Are all 6 necessary? Probably not, because this is just a 2x10 that it's attached to on the backing. So, lots of meat to bite on. So, I will actually be removing this because I'm gonna paint this and just make it look a little bit cleaner. So we're gonna go ahead and remove this bad boy. All right, battery died, so I had to get a new one. Now the final step is removing the shelf. Now the nice thing is that Sean had these little eyelets in there. So really, you just gotta take screws out just a touch. That's able to slide right out. So I'm not even gonna take this fully out. And there we have it, ready for paint. All right, so as you can see, we got a bit of paint on the boards there, so it doesn't look so bad. It doesn't stand out as much. So now I just have the reel attached. You know, it just went on obviously the exact same way that it came off. Everything is nice and level. So now we're gonna go ahead and put the new hose on. All right, so I did source the hose from TOC Supplies as well. I just went with the 50-foot 3/8 again. So we're gonna open that up. Now this one does have quick disconnects on both sides of the hose, but obviously I'm just gonna need the one. So we open that up, and there's our Veloci 50-foot KobraJet hose, and we're gonna get that installed right now. All right, so to make things a bit easier on myself, I'm actually gonna use the shelf to hold the hose. So I did take the quick release off of this end. Luckily, this is a swivel here, so I can swivel this onto here. So I did add a couple rounds of tape, just Teflon tape. So I can start threading that, just like so. Now a 7/8 wrench does fit on here pretty good. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect size. I mean, if you have perfect size, knock your socks off. So again, take my adjustable wrench. I'm gonna hold the brass piece in behind here. Now your reels might be a bit different, so do be aware of that. So this is water under pressure. As Matt says, you are gonna be getting some leaks if you're not careful. So I'm gonna crank that down as much as I can. And the nice thing of this being a swivel is that you don't have the hose flipping around on you. Okay, oops, that slipped off a bit. Now again, your reel might be a little bit different than mine. Take that with a grain of salt. Make sure everything's tight. One more, I think. Maybe a bit more. All right, that should be good there. So now we're actually gonna mount the hose on here, wind it up. Now you may be wondering, Alex, why do you have the hose on the left side? Just personal preference. It's just really what worked for me. So we're just gonna go ahead and start winding that up. Now this is not adding any real pressure or stress anywhere. So now we just gotta kind of loosen that. The first one's always gonna be the tightest. So just slowly work that around. Now, depending on the diameter of your reel, may not be this tight of a loop. So I'm actually just gonna walk the hose out and we'll be back. All right, so we're back. So I'm just gonna actually gently hold the hose in one hand. Just want that as tight as possible for the first go around. Obviously, this will be much easier once we get the hose on there fully for the first time. All right, so there we have it. That was quickly wound up. Now again, the more you kind of do that, it'll be a little bit easier. So will I regret that because of this mount? Who knows? We'll get it all connected and see. I just kind of wanted to get that up there for now. All right, now this is the part you've all been waiting for. The pressure washer itself. So I did decide to go with the AR630 version 2, which is fairly new this year. Oh yeah, look at that. A box in a box. What else could you want? So I'm gonna take this banding off. Now this, very much a lift with your knees and your legs situation. It is very, very heavy. Now you'll notice here, on here, it does say 20 amp, which I do have, 2.3 GPM, which is kind of ridiculous. A 1600 PSI max, which again is subjective depending on who you are, where you are, when you are, and max water temperature of 140 degrees Fahrenheit. So I do have warm water plumbed to the garage, and it is very much under that. And open this up. So here we do have the power cable. I'm actually just gonna neatly tie this up because I am just gonna be plugging it just beside, as we saw earlier, right there and there. Got a bit of information here. A little bit of a, what is that? A little filter. So pop that out. And there's the unit itself in its glory. So we're gonna throw that up on the shelf and have a closer look. All right, so there's the unit up on the shelf. It is a hefty bugger, I'll tell you that much. So again, I am gonna wrap up the power cable nice and tidy, and then we're actually gonna go ahead and attach it. So you'll see right here, this is the water inlet. So this is gonna be the low pressure from the hose, and this is the high pressure outlet. So this is an M22 14 millimeter, which I have here. So you crank that bad boy off of there. Once that decides to come off, bear with me. And I am gonna add a touch of tape here because there is no actual O-ring in there. So you just thread that on, and then we'll get the quick connect on there. 3, 2, 1. Alrighty, so been a couple of minutes, got a few things tidied up. So the water inlet, I do have that kind of buttoned up on the side here. And for the actual piece here, last we talked, I was just gonna have an M2214 right on that bad boy. Not the case. So I do have an actual female little adapter here to an M2214 that then adapts into the 90 degree here. So that's all connected, that's all well and good. This is all nice and tight. Now we are gonna test for leaks, obviously. And then here, I do have the power cable just wound up nicely, zip tied and whatnot, plugged into the 20 amp circuit. This is GFI protected. Now, that being said, I did kind of just tape on these labels because I like warranty. I still have warranty, it's brand new. I'm not gonna cut the cord. Maybe if I have it for a few years, I might jump into that, I don't know. So the last thing we have to do here is actually on top in a giant yellow envelope. You cannot miss it. It does say to actually fill, like for the oil fill here. So this is actually kind of like a dipstick. So basically it just says take out plug and then put this bad boy in. So we're gonna go ahead and do that right now. So this should actually just be finger tight. It's not finger tight, 1 second. All right, so just got some pliers here. We're not gonna be using this cap. That might be enough. Not quite. Couple more turns. There we go. Now she's coming out all right. Okay. Let's take that out. And this, we'll open this up. So there was a little filter in the bag too that I did put on the water inlet, just to kind of get some sediment out of there. So as far as I know, this just kind of goes in there, and this is just an oil fill level. So we'll slap that bad boy in there. Crank that down. And there we go. So now we're gonna fire it up, test for leaks. All right, so I'm actually gonna unplug the unit, just so there's no power to it. And I'm just gonna power it on. So I did lay a towel here just in case there's any drips. I do have a bucket below as well, attached to my hose. So, I mean, really the only points for a leak are actually right on the inlet and the outlet right here, and then also on the reel itself. So we're gonna find out here in a sec. All right, so I got some leakage on the high pressure side. Low pressure side actually doesn't look too bad. So we're gonna go ahead and turn the water off and then tighten that back up. All right, so everything's tightened back up. Now we're gonna go ahead and turn the water back on, and then we're gonna see what's going on. Alrighty, so we got the water full on, got the towel on my shoulder, had to tighten up a couple little things when I was kind of testing it out here, but no leaks from what I can tell. Bit of a clogged tip, but hey, that's okay. So we do have the unit plugged in, as you can see. So we're gonna fire it up for the first time here and see what we get. Okay, nothing. Good start. Let's take that off. And spray myself. Cool. But hey, no leaks. Pretty sweet. I have an install of the AR630 V2. Now, again, big thanks to TOC for the amazing support with this. I know they were out of stock for a little bit, so patience was key. But again, I'm really happy that I ran the 20 amp. You know, again, if you are doing this upgrade, do consider 20 amp because unfortunately you do need it. Now, if you're not comfortable with electrical, get an electrician, something like that. This is a very hefty unit and I'm very excited for this to outlive me and probably the house as well. That being said, we're gonna give it a go for a little bit. Always be monitoring leaks. You know, I will give full credit to Matt Mormon saying, when you are dealing with water under pressure, you will be dealing with leaks. That being said, leaks gonna happen. So again, the KobraJet 50-foot hose, really excited to try that. It is kind of a smooth jacket, so I am excited for the driveway because it's gonna be, yes, it's gonna be dragging, it's gonna get beat up, it is a consumable. That being said, it's not as porous as the black one that I had. It had a lot of ribbing, had a lot of grabbing onto rocks and such. Let's just say that. So again, we're gonna monitor everything as it goes. And luckily, for you, the viewer, hopefully no more surging. So it's a win-win for all of us. So stay tuned, drop a like, comment if you have any questions or if that's what you're into, and subscribe if you're feeling froggy. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you in the next video.